Hello, welcome to Skill Check, the positive gaming podcast from YMCA Exeter. My name is Andy.
And my name is Becky.
And this has a sense of irony around today, in that apparently we're talking about why we play games that stress us out.
And very ironic. What happened?
Well,
this podcast was meant to go out last week.
This podcast was recorded last week.
It was recorded last week.
Becky, you're a star. Thank you for not getting overly upset at my face over the quality of my microphone.
It was a bit of a fault.
It was. There were some issues. We decided to not go for it, but we're here now. And Becky has stopped torturing me.
Yeah, it's fine. It's the first time we've ever had to ditch a podcast.
It is the first one
in 2 years almost.
Yeah,
so that's not bad.
It is the very first one that I've listened back to it and I've gone, actually, there is no way. And some of our quality in the past has been
iffy.
But with that one, I was like, you just cannot listen to it. It was not working. Fair. It had to go.
So it's been stressful this week, like with the podcast last week.
It was a bit of, yes, it was an interesting Friday.
Yeah.
But interestingly, after that, I did get a win with something else. So therefore, I'm going to take that as a win.
Yeah.
And I decided to embrace that. And it worked out. It wasn't too bad.
Oh.
But what's coming up?
So we have gaming news. Where we're talking about lovely women in professional gaming. And then we also we're talking about, surprise, we're talking about games that make you stressed. We also have Andy's Game of the Week, where you are, I think, revisiting something you've done before? No?
Yes,
no, maybe?
yeah.
Sure.
But it kind of all links in nicely, so I was like, why not?
Yeah. But first we have
gaming news. Now it's time for gaming news.
Yes, our first piece of gaming news this week is, this is the same as last week, but you don't hear it, so it's fine. The UK's first professional women's gaming tournament of its kind was last Saturday, because I was like, this is a week old.
So Saturday just gone?
Yeah, 4 teams of I probably should have looked this up before we did this. 4 teams of professional gamers played for the first-person shooter Valorant, which is the most watched esports game in the Women's League. It's the first time Europe's best teams have battled it out in the UK with hopes of it bringing more women to gaming. The players have competed over 2 days in London's Red Bull gaming sphere, which I didn't know was a thing, and now it is, for a prize pool of £15,000. Last year's fans watched more than 28 million hours of professional women's esports, according to industry tracker eStarts. Competitions are usually streamed on places like Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. Are you looking up the results?
I am desperately trying to look up more information about this before you finish talking, and I've obviously failed because...
Yeah. What? So this happened because... So we wrote the gaming news last week's podcast. It's the same gaming news this week because we missed last week's podcast, as we explained in the intro.
So therefore, this is probably more chaotic than normal.
Stuff happened last week. This tournament would have happened on Saturday this week, and Andy is frantically Googling.
April 22nd, 20...
Yeah. Did you...
So, G2 Gozen have been crowned the inaugural champions of Red Bull Instalock in a 3-1 win against VCT Game Changers, who were the 2023 title holders Shopify Rebellion. Streamed live from London's Red Bull Gaming Sphere, the tournament was billed by organisers as the UK's first professional women's Valiant tournament of 2024.
Yeah, there you go. So that's who the one.
And if you're watching on YouTube, I obviously need some sort of...
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, it's coming from phone. He's taking glasses off.
Yeah.
As I said, more chaotic than normal.
Just because we wrote this a week ago. I think that's really... we did talk about...
it's a good thing.
Yeah, and we always talk about how there are lots of women that game, and it's not as like it used to be, that it kind of was seen as like a male thing, and that it was like that kind of thing. But actually, it's acknowledging that women game too, and actually it can be a profession for women as well as it can be for men, which is really exciting.
Well, wasn't there reports like after the women's team did well internationally
Yeah.
that the interest on grassroots
Yeah.
kind of spiked
Yeah.
because people were seeing themselves playing football
Yeah.
and they were like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That kind of gives me permission to kind of
Yeah,
go and
yeah.
do that.
Yeah. And it's the same, like, as soon as you start being able to see people doing the things that you like doing. So, like, the more visibility you get for women gamers, the more people will want to do, women will want to do gaming. And that's really cool.
And that's just kind of total kind of standard human behavior, isn't it? In that you're kind of drawn to people who are like you.
Yeah.
And so therefore kind of doing this sort of thing is awesome.
Yeah. Really cool. Our second piece of gaming news is Microsoft has revealed the impact of its purchase of Activision Blizzard. I always stumble across Activision.
I think you did last time.
Yeah. Microsoft's latest quarterly earnings call with shareholders has revealed that its Activision Blizzard acquisition has bolstered the company's gaming division revenue for Q3, offsetting a number of otherwise negative returns. The gaming division saw a 51% increase year over year, profiting $5.45 billion, with a majority of the impact from the acquisition.
I've got that in my back pocket.
However, it was revealed that Activision Blizzard acquisition accounted for a majority of the revenue boost, with all the Xbox content and services actually netting a 4% loss. In spite of legal hurdles, Microsoft and Xbox have already started reaping the benefits from Activision Blizzard's acquisition.
Oh, I wonder why Sony did not want this to happen.
It also, I mean, it was so, like, the Competition Marketing Authority got involved, like, so many different authorities got involved, and it was one of these things where, like, you knew that, like, the reason they were getting involved was because it would end up with it being a massive profit.
Yeah.
And, like, for all of the things that we go, oh, they regulated it so much and they heavily caveated everything. Actually, this is the reason why. It's because they didn't want, like it's the monopoly kind of feeling, isn't it? Like, they don't want, and I don't know if it has created that, but it's designed to, stop. That's what these regulatory bodies do. It's designed to stop monopolies. So because the more competition there is in things, the more prices are cheaper because there's more competition. So that's what they're trying to stop, and that's the reason they were so scrutinizing this deal so much. So yeah, it's really interesting, but obviously,
and I think as a result of all of that, good deals for gamers has happened, in that we've seen the Xbox Cloud ecosystem being opened up on other platforms, giving more gamers more opportunities to play Microsoft games, and that sounds like a good thing.
And I think it's good to be aware that these regulatory authorities are there for a good reason. So although, like, lots of people would have really loved this deal to go through quite quickly, including Microsoft, but also there were lots of gamers that would have liked. Actually, the reason for these regulatory bodies is to create competition. Competition is good. It creates cheaper prices for things. It's really important in kind of the natural economic cycle. So, either way.
It's all good, I guess, is what we're saying.
Good for Microsoft, anyway. Our final piece of gaming news is the video game charity, mental health charity Safe in Our World, is launching Mental Health Game Dev Champions 2024, aimed at empowering gamers and developers to create intimate and personal video games based on real lived experience. So through this initiative, and by sharing these experiences, Safe in Our World seeks to amplify the voice of the gaming community and enable players to experience an often silent struggle. The Mental Health Game Dev Champions 2024 is a worldwide event encouraging entries from a variety of age, skills, and diverse backgrounds. Solo entries are allowed, or team up with friends for a group category. The only restriction is that you have to be over 18 and you're aspiring developers, not an existing.
I can't find anything fresh on this in the 2 seconds time span that I gave myself. But this is simply just another good thing. This is Safe in Our World, who are an awesome charity highlighting mental health within the game industry and people who play games, encouraging conversation around our mental health and well-being, and as we see with this initiative, encouraging games that specifically highlight mental health, what it's like to live with mental health issues, and just bringing that conversation out into the open, into the light, so more people are talking about it and it's easier to talk about.
It's
Right, so you know how we talk about how games are good.
Yes. That's the point of the podcast.
That is in a nutshell. In fact, if that's all you heard, great.
That's the tagline for the podcast is, it's a positive gaming podcast.
Yes. But how about, the fact that sometimes we play games that stress us out.
On purpose we play those kind of games.
Yeah, I mean, why? I mean,
why do we do that?
We've completely skipped like a huge proportion. I mean, I guess the thing is we all know there are games out there, you've got the kind of stereotypical gamer as well, haven't you? Have that kind of screams and shouts at a video game. You've got gamers who kind of get to a certain part of a level.
Yeah.
And get stressed out at the challenge that is presented. For some bizarre reason, you go back to that. You go back to that game, and even though it's stressful, you're still doing it. And yes, I was pointing at Becky just then.
Because I think we talked about this before on the podcast. I've been playing Pikmin for a long time, and I've come to
for a very long time.
I've got to the final level of the final
We're
boss.
Struggling listener / watcher.
Finished it because I find it really stressful, and the big boss never goes away. So I was like, I go back to it occasionally, and I try and get through it, and then I come back out, and then it's not like,
And that is the thing. I mean, two things. One, if it's the final boss, they are there to challenge you. And two, I actually kind of struggled with Sonic Superstars a little bit
really?
with this same sort of thing.
And
it was so relieving to see other people online kind of go, you know what, the levels were fine. The bosses in there were like flipping heck. And and I was like, phew. But we do that. We kind of
we enjoy that as well.
We enjoy that. But how do you feel afterwards?
I mean, I'm sure if I finish Pikmin, I'll feel great. I think I will feel like a sense of accomplishment. That's my thing. But just getting through it is hard. I'm sure I will feel a sense of accomplishment.
I felt that, after kind of the end game Sonic Superstars boss. As a proper kind of air punching kind of.
Was it adrenaline? Do you think you had like a
there's definitely kind of adrenaline right at the end. I was like, actually going to do this. And caveat, I'm not sure if there is a game over screen on Sonic Superstars. It's kind of designed that way. But my days, I guess it pumps up the frustration level purposely. Knowing that actually it's not the game that you're competing against, really. It's actually your own patience level, your own kind of want to keep trying with less and less rings or whatever. And it is kind of between you and yourself. And that is just kind of how games work. It is very much there for the achievement. I mean, there's reasons why kind of achievements are a thing in games. On some consoles, you have the whole kind of done this or this is the achievement. Certain percentage of players have got this. It's there to kind of make you feel good. Achieved it. And that's the reason why we put ourselves through these stressful games. And one last point. We don't often kind of have this conversation about people in sport. It's the whole kind of...
because we don't really do sport.
Well, no. But as a society, you don't often go, why do you go rock climbing? It's so stressful.
It's true.
Why?
We don't ask people why they play tennis, and that's really I really get stressed out. And football, I'm sure, I don't really do football, but I
I guess there is
very
own
stressed.
conversations
Yeah.
around football and kind of how people react and things
Yeah.
like that. And again, that is all kind of based around stress, isn't it? It's how
Yeah.
kind of I want to win. I want to kind of do this.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that is the reason why we get stressed out of games.
Yep.
And you know what? We could talk about stress.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure if this is the podcast for that. I mean, it is, it isn't. I guess if stress in general is a thing for you,
Yeah.
or if a game is stressing you out too much, let's go that way first. So it's okay to press pause,
Step away.
step away. It's
Yeah.
all right to just take a flipping break
Yep.
and check out a guide on YouTube. Videos on YouTube, absolutely fine to watch. No problem there at all whatsoever.
I would also say there are other games that aren't as stressful. So if you still want to play a game and you're in a real stressful moment, I think a game that's not.
Journey is always
Yeah.
my recommendation for
Just-
that.
And now it's time for Andy's Game of the Week. Andy, what is your game this week?
Well, it's a game I played the other week.
Okay.
But on the subject of stress, I was like, well, it's kind of got to be this one. It has to be Celeste.
Okay.
Which is kind of, if you're on YouTube, you'll probably get an idea of the layout behind us. It's a platformer. I'm gonna suggest it's a platformer with a difference.
Right.
In that it is purposely designed to be hard.
Okay.
It's purposely, to the extent that there is an assist mode,
Yep.
and you can see in snippets behind us that my days did I switch that assist mode up at points, and you have lots of kind of different how you can make it easier for yourself. Apparently the game awards you if you don't do that. I've not actually finished the game without that mode on. The game is about a young woman with anxiety depression who aims to climb a mountain.
Okay.
And it's about the challenges, the obstacles while she is climbing that mountain.
Right.
Does not shy away from her mental health issues,
Yep.
for lack of better words. It doesn't shy away from what she struggles with in day-to-day life. To the extent that there is a panic attack involved within the game, and you help Maddie through that.
Okay.
Through a breathing exercise, which you control in your control pad. There is elements of kind of meeting that part of you that you don't want to really meet, and if that part of you was separate, how would they talk to you?
Yeah.
What would they do to stop you from climbing that mountain?
Okay.
So there's lots to it. The reason why I thought about talking about it today was at one point when I started playing it, I actually literally had to take the controller because I was streaming at the time. I took the controller, looked at the camera, walked off the camera for just one moment.
It was so stressful for you.
I just had to kind of, I think I failed. It was really early on. I failed a simple jump. Like, I say simple jump, you had to kind of jump over and under some spikes.
Okay.
You hit the spikes, you die. But whatever it was, I failed it like 4 times in quick succession, and I'm like, I am done right now. I may have switched the assist mode on at that point. And that's okay. Platform-wise, it is available on almost everything.
Yep.
Switch, PlayStation 4, apparently on Mac, on Linux, Microsoft Windows, Xbox One, and Mac operating systems.
Yeah. That's good. So that is all we've got time for this week. Or hopefully they're not getting too stressed with all this talk about games that make you stressed. That's all we've got time for. If you are following us on the social medias, please do follow us on our social medias at YMCA Exeter and at YMCA Exeter Games. If you're on YouTube, please do like and comment and subscribe, or just say hello. And we will see you next week.
See you now.